We got this.
We're buying a house.
We're buying a house.
Let's buy a house.
Order a croissant. You'll feel French.
I do like croissants. Just donuts, fancy cousin. Can I get a croissant, please?
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
I'm the voice inside your head. And while you're typically athletic, right now, you're pathetic. Rick. And once you start listening to me, it's gonna be hard to stop. Shank. And if you don't have the right auto coverage, the cost of this could hit you out of nowhere. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
Sunday night soccer deep in the heart of Texas.
De Apple viene el Sunday Night Soccer en el MLS.
All the way across, it's down in. The party started in Austin.
El toque magnífico y aparece Anders Dreyer, la figura del partido.
Big one on the
Y
way.
estamos listos para vivir todas las emociones.
A star-studded match on Sunday night soccer.
Jameson, a famously smooth whiskey from a famously big family. So big that Jose here could be one of us. You see, he's nearly as smooth as our whiskey. For him, wrong turns usually turn out all right. Even when he shows up uninvited, he's never empty-handed. And he only ever drinks smooth Jameson whiskey. Surely he must be part of the family. Must be a Jameson.
We about to level up. Too fast, got hot speed, that's supersonic, I never see. Got the Benz in the back, all eyes on me. I'm too fast, got hot speed, that's supersonic, I never see. Got the Benz in the back, all eyes on me. We about to level up.
The next icon of vacations, Star of the Seas. Book today.
Praying on failure. We put in the work, our hands in the dirt. We knocking down all of the barriers. We cannot be stopped, just God is my witness. We cannot be finished, we won't be diminished at all. We spinning the block, we double the pop, we coming the ball.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you enjoying the moment or owning the moment. They can bring investment opportunities or opportunities to invest in yourself. Ideas that can have you doing good or feeling great. From following your passion to making your passion work for you. What ideas will you bring to life? Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
And a very warm welcome back to Harrison, New Jersey. Kickoff just moments away on match day 5 in MLS. Red Bull New York hosting Toronto FC from Sports Illustrated Stadium. John Freeman, the man in charge today. over 70 appearances as a centre referee. Once again, experience needed for such a game. Jorge Gonzalez, the man in charge of VAR today, has been an official with Major League Soccer since 2006. As always, let's hope the officials stay out of today's headlines. So then, a day full of headlines, a day full of ifs, buts and maybes. Lorenzo Insigne making his first start since September 19 for Toronto FC. There were several sources suggesting, Kalen, that he was off to Europe. There were going to be so many individuals that would take him. Today he's going up against AJ Marcucci on the opposite end of his career, just starting it in fact, his MLS debut. The boy from Westchester, Pennsylvania, 25 years of age, I'm sure will be a very busy boy today. But Lorenzo Insigne, after so many reports suggesting he was leaving Major League Soccer, interest from the Middle East, interest from European football, Lorenzo Insigne said no, he wanted to remain at the project at Toronto. He wanted to remain in Major League Soccer to aid what is a difficult time for Toronto FC. And so away we go. Amongst the flurry of absentees, is this the day and is this the place, the most unlikeliest place of all, for Toronto FC to find their first victory? Or will it be business as usual for Red Bull New York? Callum Williams alongside Kalen Carr, your commentary team. Kalen, what to expect here today?
That's a good question, and frankly, all week we've been wondering that exact same thing. We spoke to both managers, and Robin Fraser was a bit coy, especially with Insigne. The topic came up and he preferred to dodge it, just saying he's available. And same thing on the other side when he spoke to Sandro Schwartz, saying it's a little difficult to prepare because we don't know who's playing. He mentioned Insigne. I'm sure would have had a bit of game plan, but at the same time, when you see him in the 11 from the beginning, a big shock for me. Has not even appeared on the bench at all, traveled with the team, nothing. So to see him come back, yes, the injuries, the absences, that's a big part of it, but a big roll of the dice of sorts, and I think it speaks a little bit to the desperation of Toronto FC, just having to use every available body. And look, to go down the bench, a lot of teams right now are bringing out MLS Next Pro players or players that don't have experience yet. You're bringing in a player that's been in the World Cup, been in Champions League, and you're paying a big fee. It's $15 million. That's the second highest price next to Lionel Messi. So definitely the player of the watch, and definitely added some intrigue to this one.
Toronto FC, one of 6 teams yet to find victory thus far this season in Major League Soccer. No win in 11 versus Red Bull New York, who are unbeaten in their last 3 after opening day defeat to FC Cincinnati. Red Bull New York coming off the back of a 2-2 draw here against Orlando City in what was an improved game, according to the head coach Sandro Schwartz. Emil Forsberg with plenty on his shoulders today. As many as 10 absentees across both teams today. International break taking its toll in Major League Soccer this weekend. No doubt experience will be relied on once again. Emil Forsberg and Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting with plenty on their shoulders, and the same can be said from a Toronto FC perspective. The 2 Italians playing up top. Federico Bernardeschi has shone in the opening handful of games. Lorenzo Insigne with an opportunity to show what he can offer as Edwards plays the ball towards the cusp. Scraps are picked up by Peter Stroud. Here come Red Bull New York in the opening stages, who earn themselves a free kick deep in Toronto territory.
And expect to see Red Bull come out and be the protagonists at home, and based on the way this season has gone for them, it's a nice little entry ball in there from Stroud, and you can see it's late there from Coelho. Referee rightly allows that play to continue, to play the advantage. It doesn't come off and then brings it back, but expect more of this to push and tilt this field forward for Red Bull, playing against a team still looking for their first victory.
Red Bull did go 13 wins in the last 18 home games. At one point they went 13 games unbeaten last season here as well. There's an element of comfort whilst playing amongst home supporters. Emil Forsberg just several weeks ago scored a cracker against Nashville from similar range. Can he deliver here once again?
And he's lining up to shoot it from the looks of it.
He wouldn't bet against him. 2 European Championships and a World Cup appearance for the Swedish international. Forsberg doubles goal. And at the second time of asking, gathered by the experienced Sean Johnson. those of you joining us late, 2 changes to the Red Bull New York starting 11. Carlos Coronel and Dennis Yengur, of course, on international duty. So in comes AJ Marcucci for his MLS debut between the pipes for Red Bull New York. And Venezuelan midfielder Wickelman Carmona comes in for his first start of this Major League Soccer season as well. And all eyes on Emil Forsberg and Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting to deliver the goods once again for Red Bull New York. But for Toronto FC, so many headlines over the course of the off-season. Now the biggest one over the course of the last hour or so is that Lorenzo Insigne starts in what has been viewed as a major gamble and roll of the dice from Robin Fraser.
And it seemed unlikely, based on the reports that you mentioned, saying Toronto FC were looking to make that move. Teams in Turkey, Italy, and Spain, and Insigne reportedly turned down those offers, and it seemed unlikely we'd see him maybe again this season for Toronto FC. So to see him back into the 11 today, big surprise for me.
Bernardeschi has the goal contribution in 3 of the opening 4 MLS games. Can he add to those numbers here, the former Juventus man? Bernardeschi with a lovely in-swinging ball in, repelled by Red Bull for the time being. Raheem Edwards, the former Toronto FC man, remember, able to clip the ball into the path of Choupo-Moting. Here come the home side. It's an audacious ball into the path now of Emil Forsberg, who has his pocket picked supremely. Toronto FC can take a breath.
Yeah, it's really good track there from the designated player Bernardeschi, and we saw him do that throughout large spells of last season, playing in that right wing back position under John Herdman, and Robin Fraser has used him differently. It's pushed him into a much more advanced position to try to use more of that effort in the offensive end, but you can see there made an important intervention, doing a bit of that dirty work still to tracking back and stop that transition moment from Forsberg.
Forward, and Monlouis, the former Arsenal man, able to clip away. Here come Red Bull New York through the purposeful pass of Edelman. Edwards with an enticing ball across goal. No recipient in red this time. Toronto FC looking for the first victory of the season up against Sandro Schwarz and Red Bull New York. Schwarz, the 5th head coach since 2004 to lead a team to MLS Cup in their first season in charge. The former Mainz and Hertha BSC man said he was happy with the game against Orlando last week, the 2-2 draw. And he was extraordinarily angry with the last 10 minutes. So the main focus this week has been on themselves. It's been a little bit of the unknown preparing for Toronto FC, difficult to prepare for them. Toronto FC and Robin Fraser, things are going as expected, growing pains and learning curves. No one's satisfied as it stands. Progress is coming. The ideas are starting to come together.
Yeah, he maintained the positivity, and it's been a difficult start, but you can't say it's not expected. That's the way it's gone for them, and part of it due to the way that the roster is constructed and lack of flexibility to make moves, to make changes, to move on from pieces, and so they've had to do their best with the existing ones, and it's a perfect example of that.
Another set-piece opportunity now after Matty Longstaff, the former Newcastle United man, conceding the free kick.
But for Red Bull, it's going to be a little bit of a different proposition than we saw maybe in their best moments, even going through the playoffs last year, and defensively against the ball, being strong, winning the ball in dangerous positions. Here you can see in the early moments they're being asked to play the protagonist, to play in possession. They had to do the same thing last week against Orlando City, and this man right here helps a lot as far as that build out, to be able to find that connecting piece and bring other players into play.
Monlouis. Johnson with his foot on the ball, happy to clip it to the channel. It is Lorenzo Insigne, 4-time Serie A runner-up with Napoli. European Championship winner, of course, with Italy alongside Federico Bernardeschi in 2021, beating England in the final on penalties. Goesho. Edelman. It's been a long, long time since Toronto FC found victory in this stadium. They've only done it twice throughout the entire history in Major League Soccer. It was 2016 the last time Red Bull New York lost at home in the regular season to Toronto FC. Goals from Jovinko and Delgado doing enough that day. And that Red Bull New York side was a team containing some very familiar faces. Sasha Kleshchuk, Dax McCarthy and Bradley Wright Phillips all starting on that day. Not their finest moment in Red Bull attire, I'm sure.
That's a stat those gentlemen will not like to hear, but had a midweek game, showed their quality, getting through in the Open Cup with the Des Moines Menace, and Sasha Kleshchuk with 2 goals in that one. Still got it for me.
Here's Hack. Chicken have still got it. Forsberg laying the ball into Hack, and Edwards taken down. Here's Edelman. 88% passing accuracy thus far this season. Lovely slipped ball through from Noah Ayla. Toronto on hand and Johnson clearing away. Boesho into the wide areas. Noah Ayla to pick up the pieces. Thrust forward by Red Bull and away by Nixon Gormish, the former Sheffield United centre-half. Free kick in favour of Toronto. New York with a home record of 17-2-2 against Toronto, and if they are going to increase that, no doubt he'll play his part. The player spotlight is presented by Allstate. You are in good hands. Forsberg with a goal to his name so far this season.
Yeah, we saw what a difference he made last year. That incredible run through the playoffs all the way to MLS Cup, and it's no coincidence that it timed exactly with his return into the lineup. Was out since June and then returned right at the end of the season. There was 14 draws, far too many, and they just didn't have that difference maker, that one that could really think the game, to take them in transition moments, to put his foot on the ball, to find that final pass. And Forsberg, with that experience, made the difference last season. This year gives them a chance to be even better, I think, than last year. We spoke to Robin Fraser and he said, I think this Red Bulls team is actually better than last year, and they went to MLS Cup. And Forsberg adding in Choupo-Moting, Lewis Morgan still out, but you can see the picture is looking really good for Red Bull so far early this season.
Toronto FC hoping to take advantage of the unpredictability they posed for Sandro Schwarz and Red Bull New York in preparation for this one. They have some defending to do now, though, with Choupo-Moting loitering. Element of spontaneity about the Toronto FC front line, with both Lorenzo Insigne and Federico Bernardeschi starting today.
Yeah, there's no striker to begin with, and Bernardeschi has the freedom to float, to move out into the wings, like to drift to that right-hand side, to tuck in on his left foot, and then you see here Insigne underneath.
I do wonder how challenging that'll be for the 3 centre-halves of Red Bull New York today. Do you stick, do you swing, do you go when they drop? How do you handle it, Caleb?
It's important against the ball, even when you're in possession, which I expect them to have the majority of, to have that rest defense in good areas, and don't have to worry about the pace of Insigne at all. So underneath he's fine, but it's really Bernardeschi, the one that you have to identify to make sure that he's not getting released quickly in time and space.
Let's not forget behind them today, AJ Marcucci making his MLS debut today. 54 appearances for Red Bull New York over the years, 5 clean sheets in 14 appearances last year on loan in the top flight in Finland. It was a loan spell that Sandro Schwarz described as much needed. He said his mentality is excellent. It was so important to go out on loan and gain a new experience, a new cultural experience, a new personal experience in Finland. He has some work to do here as Toronto push forward. Bernardeschi trying to slip it through, and well watched by Hack. Edelman playing it forward now for Carmona. Bright-booted Venezuelan.
But that's also a moment for Red Bull where they don't have a Lewis Morgan. They don't have the runner, the pace in behind Choupo-Moting is much more looking to feet. Same with Forsberg, and they need that third man, that deep-lying runner. Wiki Carmona in the start today, but doesn't bring those same attributes. So when they win that ball, they're not able to go as quickly.
Coesho into Lorenzo Insigne, turning into trouble. Edwards on hand for Red Bull New York. MLS Cup winner with Toronto FC in 2017, remember, and here come Toronto FC. Petretta on the far side. Coesho now. Easily repelled by the head of Edwards, only into the path now of Lorenzo Insigne. Stabbed away vitally by Nilis. Carmona to tidy up for Red Bull New York. Long, formerly of Burnley, joined last season after leaving relegated Birmingham City last campaign. Bernardeschi, three-time Serie A winner with Juventus, into Wingo. Coesho. Gomes, Orient pass to the path of AJ Marcucci. So goalless after 15 minutes here at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Kalen Carr, what's the observation?
Well, that's the first good sustained spell of possession for Toronto FC, and just maybe a little bit rushed in the end, but at least picking and probing side to side, moving the ball through the center of midfield through Longstaff and Coesho, but have to be careful in those areas. You have to be clean the way Red Bull play, and haven't been able to create an opportunity so far from Red Bull, just that one chance on the set piece from Forsberg, but haven't been able to get that deep run. They're continuing to look in behind here, but don't quite have the same weapons with pace, so have to find another way.
Louis into Nixon Gomes. Calls for a foul aren't heard, and Lorenzo Insigne surveys. Coesho now brings it forward for TFC. Quickly done by Bernardeschi. Longstaff. Robin Fraser did say to us just yesterday, playing against Red Bull New York at times feels like you're playing uphill. Red Bull much better than last year, much more purposeful with the ball. Those starts will be happy to hear that, Caleb, because he wants more of it.
Yeah, I can relate. I heard Robin Fraser say that, and never enjoyed playing here. Able to escape with the result a few times, but that's the tough one for Toronto FC. It's not a place you want to walk into if you're unsure of yourself, if you're not confident, if you're a little bit fragile, and that's where Toronto FC are right now. But managing these early minutes of the game, these first 15 minutes or so, you've survived that part, but we saw them have a good start to their last match and then completely fall apart at the seams, so they need to continue to push forward and build their way into this game.
Noah Ayla. 380 touches prior to this game for Noah Ayla. Second in Major League Soccer across the entirety of players involved in the league. Here he is again.
And you can see his positioning is further up the pitch. He's allowed to break lines with his feet, looking for balls. Usually tries to find Forsberg, his fellow Swede.
There is Forsberg. Edelman. Ayla. Able to retreat into the MLS debutants, AJ Marcucci.
You can see Toronto lined up with 5 in the back here defensively. 4 in front, and then just Insigne does not have the fitness right now, of course, has not played a match and started a match since September 19th, so they want to try to save him, at least hoping for a spot at the top of the box. They found him once in that little D area where Marcucci is right now, to see if he can find a moment of magic and maybe put his name on the score sheet. But defensively, they've been strong so far. playing a little bit safe to begin with, which makes sense with where they are in this season and difficult place to play.
Getting a toe to it. Signe. Wingo. Formerly of Seattle Sounders, of course. League titles in Norway and Hungary. It's departing Major League Soccer and then returning to the league with TFC last year. Edelman. Choupo-Moting. Off the mark in MLS last weekend in a 2-2 draw against Orlando City, of course. Three-time Bundesliga winner, 4 seasons with Bayern. You'll know all about him.
Yeah, I spoke to Sandro Schwartz during the week about Choupo-Moting and asked him about the positioning of Choupo-Moting, because at times for me he drifts wide, he drops underneath, but what Red Bull needs sometimes is a number 9, that selfish striker that I don't know if necessarily is his personality, and it's fine. It's one thing when you're playing for Bayern Munich and you have Leroy Sané and a wealth of options. Same with PSG, Mbappe, Neymar, played with all of them, but Red Bull need goals from him. They need him to play centrally, especially with no Lewis Morgan in the lineup. So important for him to play a little bit more disciplined in his positioning and be that reference point, be that 9 they need.
Well, when given service, no doubt he can find goal. Managed to find 10 in all competitions in his best season with Bayern München. Raheem Edwards, I'm sure, with a whole host of emotions within his mind at the moment. As we said earlier on, born and raised in Toronto, was an academy product, won MLS Cup with TFC in 2017. Been around the block a little bit.
Yeah, but I think he fits the system, the profile, the way he plays. Being aggressive, got caught a high line a little bit off with the rest of his defenders. Need to find that continuity, but stays in the team.
He was able to read the ball. Here come Red Bull New York. Dylan Nealis scrambled away by Show and picked up now by Lorenzo Insigne. Heavily done for the former Italian international, but Red Bull persist. Stroud. Edwards. Tossing ball in, no takers. And a decision in favour of Toronto FC.
You can see Toronto having trouble breaking pressure. Insigne tries a little behind the leg, and Red Bull were there with the counter press. That's going to be a key today. They keep possession through large spells. They want to try to win it right back. You can see the ball in the box. Only one man in there, and Choupo-Moting. You can see the slight push on the back there, but maybe a little bit more patience needed there from Edwards.
Scored in some of the biggest games football has to offer. Choupo-Moting. Last UEFA Champions League goal, ironically, came for Bayern Munich against Paris Saint-Germain. League winner with both sides throughout his illustrious career. Forsberg. Long cabbage retreat into Johnson. Chased on the far side by Marcus Zimermancic. 2-year-old homegrown player playing amongst the stars today for Toronto. 2 of them combined now with Insigne to Bernardeschi. Now this is Henry Wingo. Longstaff. You may be able to hear the screams and shouts from Sandro Schwartz just underneath our vantage point here at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Not happy with the amount of possession Toronto FC have had so far. Matty Longstaff working his way into the first yellow card of the evening.
You can see Longstaff just leaving his feet there. Yeah, it's late on Edelman, clear yellow. But you can see Sandro Schwartz on the sideline very demonstrative, just pushing forward, wants this team to up the tempo. Saw the rain starting to come down slightly here. That's usually a trigger for New York Red Bulls to be aggressive and push forward, and Sandro Schwartz has been really animated on the sideline today. You're playing against a team that is deflated, not in their best moment. You have them at home. You have to be aggressive. You cannot allow them any sort of pathway into this game and not want to settle into any sort of complacency, up the tempo in this game.
You'll notice there was a brief pause in the play there for a moment. We're told Matty Longstaff's yellow card was being checked for a straight red card. As you can see, the check is complete and red card is the decision. As the rain starts to pour down here in Harrison, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's better. That's exactly what Sandro Schwartz is looking for, and it comes from their designated player. Nice pressure there from Forsberg.
From Substitutions, New York, 55 miles west of here. Marcucci on his MLS debut in for Carlos Coronel on international duty with Paraguay. But don't forget, MLS 360 has you covered with every goal, every storyline from every game. Join Kevin Egan and the crew live right now so you don't miss a moment of the action. It's been an action-packed opening 25 minutes here at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Both sides having spells of possession. What is a game full of pace, as expected here. Alexander Hack, of course, coached by Sandoval Schwarz at Mainz in the German Bundesliga for several years. To his centre-half partner, Sean Nealis. Stroud happy to retreat into Marcucci. Touch for Sean Nealis as Hack flashes forward for Red Bull New York. Purposefully finds Dylan Nealis on the far side.
It's a great ball there from Hack. Just looking for that big switch, the diagonal to a streaking Nealis. It doesn't quite come off, but gain field position.
Dylan Nealis. Whole host of red to aim for. To his brother Sean Nealis was the initial thought. Here is Dylan Nealis now. Angled ball over the top. No takers for Red Bull New York. Forsberg keeping the ball rolling for the home side. Hack now with an enticing ball across goal. Flashed across goal, full of invitation. No takers this time for Red Bull.
Yeah, you can see both center backs have the ability to spring the ball forward. On the other side, it's Isla, and then when your center half can play a ball like that, it's a lovely weighted ball, curling, just desperate for someone to get a touch. Excellent ball there from Hack.
Side for Red Bull. Only 3 home losses in MLS last season. Only Miami had fewer in the Eastern Conference in 2024. It's a place of comfort, Sports Illustrated Stadium. Toronto FC, at the moment 6 games without an away win, stretching back to last season. August 24th at Houston was their last road triumph. Show flashing forwards. Hack in mid-flight to meet it. Stroud amongst the crowd. The trailing leg seems to catch Stroud. Referee says play on. And here come Toronto FC in numbers. Sumancic forward. Scrambled away for the time being. Longstaff. Bernadeschi in between the lines. To slip it through, and it was watched all the way by Dylan Nealis. Win goal against Edwards. Monlouis to Johnson. Sick unable to gather. Forsberg, two-time Bundesliga runner-up in 9 years with Rasenball Leipzig. Ela. Norman Carmona making his first start of the season in Major League Soccer. Injuries have plagued his progress over the course of the last few months. Moved inside and watched by Edelman. Into the path now of Forsberg, running at the heart of Toronto FC. Carmona dealt with comprehensively by Gomes. Monlouis. Shaw miscuing amongst a forest of Red Bull New York players.
But you could hear Robin Fraser there saying higher. Henry's trying to get those wing backs more advanced positions. They've been stuck too far deep in that block of 5, but with the ball, they need to see if they can push to see if they can find someone to find those wide areas to release.
Forsberg. Here's Hack, who brings it forward for Red Bull New York. Alexander Hack let fly. Straight into the grasp of Sean Johnson.
Maybe caught in between two minds. Whether to cross or shoot, ended up taking the shot, but that last ball has been missing from Red Bull so far. I've not had that patience more than anything to find that next pass, and usually a good option if you're unsure is give the ball to Forsberg.
Ball now at the feet of the other Swede, Noah Ela. Choupo-Moting wins a corner for Red Bull New York. Can the home side conjure here? 4 goals scored in the last 3 games. Can they find something from the set piece? Forsberg's ball in. Heads go up. Red Bull coming within a whisker. The woodwork clipped top of the head from Noah Ela.
Yeah, you can see the height advantage is definitely in favor of Red Bull here, and it's a good ball. Outswinging here, and watch the movement backwards there from Noah Ela. It's really difficult one moving away from goal. And see he's got the matchup with Gomes, and he has to reorient his run to step back to make contact, and it just grazes, kisses off the top of the bar, but excellent header to try to redirect that one towards frame.
It's been quite the way to score your first goal in Major League Soccer for Noah Ela. Shaw nudging forward. A very warm welcome to those of you watching on MLS MLS 360, Callum Williams alongside two-time MLS Cup finalist Caelan Khan, your commentary team. Caelan, what's the observation of the contest thus far?
Red Bull have been the protagonist, dominated possession, and been able to break pressure going the other direction, but have not been able to break through as far as that final pass, that final look as of yet.
It's Forsberg at the heart of everything for Red Bull New York. Alexander Hack. The enticing idea as the ball's nudged away by the former Burnley man Kevin Long. Let's not forget we were saying earlier on, no win in 11 for Toronto FC against Red Bull New York. It was 2016 the last time Red Bull lost at home in the regular season to Toronto FC. In that team that day, Sasha Kleshton, Dax McCarthy and Bradley Wright-Phillips. As we said earlier on, not their finest moments in a Red Bull uniform, I'm sure. Sorry, chaps. Chibamote with the ball across goal. Back in from whence it came. Very nearly fell to the feet of Raheem Edwards.
And that's been the summary of the first half so far, is Red Bull getting close, applying pressure, and then Toronto FC looking to release through Bernardeschi, but the rest defense for Red Bull has been set up, and it's been pretty predictable for TFC. Not a lot of options, of course. They've been forced to make the desperate decision to go with Insigne. Has not started a match since September 19th, and it's been very quiet to begin this game. Toronto FC doing all the work defensively.
Well, that is the headline here in Harrison, New Jersey, after months of speculation. Lorenzo Insigne linked with moves to the Middle East, to various parts of Europe. The former Italian international said no to a handful of potential moves. Now he starts for the first time today here for Toronto FC, partnering Bernardeschi in the attacking role for Toronto.
Yeah, but a big piece of it, I think, is based on who's missing. Milburn Hilton, Osorio with the Canada national team, Spicer with Trinidad and Tobago, some injuries, so look at a number of teams across the league at this point searching deep down into the roster and even down to MLS Next Pro, and Toronto FC pulled out a DP, paying him $15 million, has not had the production to back that up or anything close to it really, so it's a bit of a roll of the dice, but when you consider what they're facing right now, it's a card in the deck that feels hard to criticize them to play.
The player comparison is presented by Celsius, pure passion and maximum energy with zero sugar. These two players, Edelman and Longstaff, have been at each other's throats in the opening 36 minutes.
Yeah, these two just go everywhere. Absolutely up and down the pitch, and that touch right there just fades for Dylan Nealis. Has been emblematic of just that last touch, that final action for Red Bull that's been missing, but Longstaff and Edelman so far in this first half have been everywhere.
Well, we do remain goalless. Now the goalkeeper supremely tested thus far. Red Bull New York hitting the woodwork through a header from Noah Ayla, the closest either side have come. Johnson tested with an effort from range from Alex Hack. Jay Marcucci yet to really make a save though on his MLS debut for Red Bull New York. Across the cover this time.
But it's a part of the challenge for Red Bull as far as their evolution is when you play against low-lying teams that are going to sit back defensively. Are they able to beat you with the ball at their feet? Are they able to break you down through possession? So often we see a mistake is often the difference for them, or defensively is what creates their offense. And Toronto FC so far, I don't want to speak too early.
Forsberg into Raheem Edwards. Now then, referee says no. Edwards went down, and now at the opposing end, Bernardeschi unable to pick out Insigne. Noah Ayla will tidy up for Red Bull. That would have been quite the story. Raheem Edwards, the former Toronto FC man, down inside the penalty area. We're told the VAR officials are taking a good look at it. In the meantime, Edwards unable to pick out the pass. Insigne. Coelho. Long into Gomez to settle. Coelho. Monlouis. In February, after a 13-year spell in the Arsenal Academy and first team. Ball is thrashed forward and Marcucci comes a long way and rids the imminent danger. Well, plenty of talking points in this game, but the latest comes inside the Toronto penalty area.
Yeah, it came from a poor giveaway from Toronto FC, and Raheem Edwards steps forward, and just a matter if there's contact there from Wingo as it's right on the edge of the box. That right leg is where they're going to be looking at for Edwards, but for me it looks like he is initiating that contact or dragging it a bit rather than the other way around. See the touch, he's clearly got position. His left leg, there's no contact, he steps forward. It's this back leg, there's clearly contact, but it's just who initiates it. For me, Edwards drags it back to put it in harm's way. I think it's clever, but for me, I'm not sure it's a clear and obvious error if it meets that threshold for me.
Both John Freeman and the man in charge of VAR today, Jorge Gonzalez, a referee and an official with Major League Soccer since 2006. Both have a ton of experience, feel the need to go to the monitor. And so we wait.
He's clearly in the box. There's no doubt about that. It's this right leg for Edwards as Wingo tries to come around him.
You're not convinced, are you?
It's clear there's contact. There's no doubt about it. It's in the box. But for me, Edwards is clever and pushes his right leg back to make contact with Wingo. For me, Freeman saw that to begin with, so to go and change it, yes, there's contact, but I think it's clever from Edwards. I understand it, understanding Winger's coming around it, but for me, the contact is initiated from Edwards. He sees him clearly, and he drags that right leg back to understand that Wingo's going to be in a difficult position coming around him, and I like the original decision for me.
We're having a long look at this. Freeman and Jorge Gonzalez continuing the discussion, maybe even the debate. And so, the decision is...
After review, number 2 Toronto commits a tripping foul inside the penalty area. Restart penalty.
So, the former Toronto FC man wins a penalty for Red Bull New York. Is it the right call?
I think it's clever. I don't think it matters whether it's right. I think it's clever from Edwards to put himself in that position, understanding that Wingo's going to come around him based on where he is. But for me, he initiates the contact, understanding that it's coming, leaves that leg out there. We saw it before just last week here with Choupo-Moting, who put his foot in front. But for me, that's a little bit more of a natural move where you're putting your leg in front to be hit. This is a drag back where he's sort of leaving a leg out. But either way, a clever play from Edwards, and now we see Forsberg step up at the spot.
Well, if there's anybody you want to deliver in a moment like this, it is Emil Forsberg, but they're going up against Sean Johnson in his 50th Toronto FC MLS appearance. Full of experience, has saved many a penalty throughout his career. Of course, won MLS Cup down the road with New York City FC back in 2021. And he keep out the old foe here. It's Emil Forsberg who scores. Confidence and comfortable. Red Bull New York lead by 1-0.
For Toronto FC team that's been desperate for luck. For me, this is a harsh decision here with Edwards leaving a leg out and Wingo coming through the back of him. Won't bother Forsberg, who steps up to the spot, slots it coolly. Red Bull haven't been able to create much in the half, and the timing of this just before halftime mentally is a big advantage.
Well, on a day when so many internationals are unavailable due to the international break, Forsberg steps up in a moment where he was needed most. Raheem Edwards playing his part in the role as well, the role of instigator. So on the cusp of half-time, a familiar feeling at Sports Illustrated Stadium for Red Bull New York. And a familiar feeling for Toronto FC, who now have work to do. One of 6 teams remaining in MLS thus far, yet to find victory. Wingo. Croatia. With the stern challenge on Edelman, and Hack will clear the ball away.
And going back to the Choupo-Moting penalty last week, the big difference for me is that's his plant leg. He puts his plant leg in front, where this one was his trail leg. He's coming back away from it. He leaves it kind of dangling, waiting for Wingo. It's clever there from Edwards, but that's the difference between the two for me.
Well, these are the team benches built by the Home Depot. As we've said on several occasions, the international break causing all sorts of problems for Major League Soccer, and both head coaches have had to dig deep into the MLS Next Pro roster. Looking of young players available and hoping for their chance to shine here today in the First Division. In the meantime, here's Emil Forsberg. 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Stroud. Choupo-Moting dealt with by Gomis for the time being. Edelman. A turn from Choupo-Moting. Hack. Edwards. Hack's ball in. Away by Long. Unable to gather, and now Bernardeschi off to the races. The forest of Red Bull players around him. Insigne in support. Bernardeschi down. Referee not the slightest bit interested.
Yeah, but it's a lot for one man to carry. It's been the only method of breaking pressure. Maybe one of the first times we were able to see Bernardeschi in any sort of time and space, but he's got 3 runners coming against him. Manages to find his way all the way to the box, and it's just a hopeful cutback to see if he's able to win a penalty. But anything, it at least relieves a little bit of pressure, but that's been the only path forward for Toronto. Have not been able to bring enough numbers forward, been pinned back. Ultimately, that's where we see them concede the penalty, losing possession, and then Edwards getting in behind Wingo.
Thrashing forward on his MLS debut. He's gone relatively untested thus far. There's Carmona on the opposing end. Choupo-Moting touched inside. Hilla in an advanced position, unable to find a way through.
Yeah, but they're able to push their center backs into the box in late arriving third man runs, and that's how much pitch control they've had in this first half.
Stroud down under the challenge, which seemed late. Petretta not at all convinced. Referee awards a free kick and dishes out a yellow card to the former Italian under-21 international.
Look at this one here with Stroud coming through, and yes, clear foul. Comes through on the side. And Bernadeschi picks up the yellow. It's a point of emphasis, not crowding the referee this season, and picks up a yellow as well for his troubles.
Bernadeschi and co seeing the funny side of it. Bernadeschi walking into a yellow card as well, it seems.
But that frustration is setting in, and it carries over from last season to this one. And Robin Fraser, the new manager, has had to manage that. It's been difficult digging deeper down into the depth charts, and with the timing of the goal conceded, will test you mentally.
Carmona and Forsberg over the ball. Carmona's ball in, steered away towards the cusp, and with that goes the half-time whistle. Red Bull New York doing just about enough to find themselves leading over Toronto FC, who have given themselves plenty to work with. Emil Forsberg from the penalty spot, the difference thus far at the break. Red Bull New York 1, Toronto FC 0.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Oopsies. You go.
No, you go.
Oh.
Go for the handful.
What's up, insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us during the Red Bulls and TFC game. We've got some bad news here. Just went down with a penalty, but the good news is, sorry for the mess here, but we've got the we've got the TSI Bracket Mania campaign, as you see the Leafs game running behind me, and then that video you just saw on the TV there, running on this one. March Madness, our SickKids Hospital Bracket Mania campaign. It's halftime. Please take a few minutes and click the link that is pinned in the chat and donate if you are able. We'll see you back in the chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss when we go live for any TFC games, any TFC action. All right, I got to switch this bad boy back to the audio and the ending screen because this game is over. All right, we got TFC here. It's coming in on halftime. Come on, TFC. Let's go. Hopefully that doesn't get copywritten there, but hopefully it's not too long. But there you go. You see, Bracket Mania. Let's go. TFC insiders, I can't wait to get to a game there. I will be going to a game this season. Go TFC, go. We'll see you back in the chat. God, what game do I have to shut down now? Ugh, come on, TFC. Let's get the win here. Go, TFC. Go. Go, Leafs. Go. Leafs up 2-1 over the Predators right now. They just scored. Yep, 2-1. Come on. Hey, Ryan. Cheers, man. And SOP True, I see you. Look out. Lots of good content, soccer fans, on my sister channel, Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central. All right, we're going to play a quick video here for our advertising our Bracket Mania campaign, and we'll see you in the second half. Let's get back in there. We're down 1-0. Let's get it.
The tournament is here. March Madness is here. The craziness is here. Don't forget, hit that like button down below and share this link out so we can get more basketball fans here in the chat, hanging out with us, cheering on your favorite team.
Clayton steals it and lays it in. Clayton a good look. Hit 6.
check out our new website, www.torontosportsinsider.com, and check out the link that is in the description as well as in the chat that shows where all of the live viewers are watching from. Are you an insider yet? Have you hit that subscribe button? I bet you have now. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for checking out our Bracket Mania campaign. A lot more coming up soon.
Comer. They're going to compete. Haters just haven't been able to do so. Bernard Thompson with a three.
This is over. What a great scene this is.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thanks for chatting it up and enjoying this March Madness live hangout with us.
At RBC Wealth Management, we know you have ideas for your future. Ideas that can have you enjoying the moment or owning the moment. They can bring investment opportunities or opportunities to invest in yourself. Ideas that can have you doing good or feeling great. From following your passion to making your passion work for you. What ideas will you bring to life? Know more with RBC Wealth Management.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Welcome back to the Audi halftime report, where at halftime at Sports Illustrated Stadium, Red Bull New York lead Toronto FC by 1-0. in North Forsberg, unsurprisingly at centre stage in Harrison, New Jersey. Elsewhere then on match day 5 in Major League Soccer, we've already seen Minnesota United and LA Galaxy tying 2-2. Calvin Yeboah with 2 goals at Allianz Field earlier today. Same scoreline at TQL Stadium for Cincinnati and Atlanta. Caleb, what stands out to you thus far?
Yeah, I turned that one off early, and an own goal ended up costing Cincinnati 2 points at home. And the one that stands out right now is Charlotte at halftime up 3-0 over the Quakes. I mean, no Ajiman, but they've still been able to produce offensively. 3-0 at halftime stands out.
Of course, let's not forget a whole host of games coming your way later this evening on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. The top performance is presented by Aldi. And Lorenzo Insigne made so many headlines in the off-season, was apparently on his way back to European football. Today starts for Toronto FC and has made an impression, Caleb.
Yeah, I don't know though if it's been a really positive one. He hasn't been able to do much, and I tell you what, if you haven't played in months, you haven't started a match since September 19th, Red Bull Arena is probably the last place I would like to walk into, and you can see them just sending numbers, putting bodies around him, and the fitness isn't there, but that's the way it's been so far, and not a lot of options for Toronto.
This is Major League Performance. This is Aldi, official automotive partner of Major League Soccer. The heat map from a Lorenzo Insigne point of view suggests he's been anywhere than he wants to be, Kellen. He wants to be higher up towards goal, but at the moment he's been pressed so deep he can't do much.
Yeah, there was only just one dot on the far right of your screen where he was able to get free on top of the box and wasn't able to create anything out of it. And it's been mostly underneath, looking for combination play and possession, but Red Bull have swarmed him wherever he's been on the pitch.
Well then, the question is, have you watched Onside Major League Soccer yet? With exclusive access to players, coaches and clubs, this docu-series dives deep into the electrifying moments and stories that make Major League Soccer unforgettable. All episodes are now streaming on Apple TV+. Go and check it out. So frustration mounting for Toronto FC. Can they turn the tide here in Harrison, New Jersey? Red Bull lead by 1-0. The second half is next.
He's on the run! Cool as a cucumber! Beautiful wall pass! Brilliant! Just next the defender!
Linda asistencia.
Lowe's knows what a great assist can lead to.
Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. Celsius. Live fit.
And my party of 3.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Oopsies. You go.
No, you go.
Oh.
Go for the handful.
Hey, sweaty. Sweetie, you good?
Someone stole my Old Spice antiperspirant. Now I'm smelling like perspirant.
I did. Force 24/7 sweat protection.
You did this to my pits.
I'm the voice inside your head. And while you're typically athletic, right now, you're pathetic. Rick, and once you start listening to me, it's gonna be hard to stop. Shank. And if you don't have the right auto coverage, the cost of this could hit you out of nowhere. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem, like me.
Welcome back to Harrison, New Jersey. This broadcast of MLS on Apple TV is presented by T-Mobile. And a very warm welcome back into Sports Illustrated Stadium at half-time. Red Bull New York leading Toronto FC by 1-0, courtesy of Emil Forsberg's second goal of the season. The supporter cam is brought to you by Lowe's. Visit Lowe's for the ultimate assist on your next project. These fans have been through everything, Kalen. It's always good to see so many of them here.
Yeah, beautiful day here as well in New Jersey. And I was in LA for MLS Cup and thought it was awesome that the club sent out 2,500 fans to witness that. Now, obviously it didn't go the way they wanted in the end, but to be there in Los Angeles for MLS Cup, and I only know that they're dreaming of getting back, and with Forsberg in the lineup, Choupo-Moting added, still a long ways to go, but they have to be pleased with this first half.
So 2 changes at half-time for Toronto FC. Henry Wingo and Zane, the centre-half, the former Arsenal centre-half, Zane Monlouis, departing. Cozy Thompson and Sigurd Rosted, the 2 players that have come in for Toronto FC at the break. The question is, how will that fare for Robin Fraser and Toronto FC in what was a high-paced, high-energetic opening 45 minutes at Sports Illustrated Stadium, as it always is here in Harrison, New Jersey. The question is, Kalen Carr, what do we expect to see in the second half?
Well, I think from Toronto FC's perspective and for the manager, Robin Fraser, I think the changes are similar but different in different ways. I think part of it is Rosted is back healthy, so you want to get him into the team, but only 45 minutes. Maybe he's available to go at this point, and Wingo also just came back, so maybe can't push past that. They don't want to have any long-term injuries, so in steps Cozy Thompson, but I think the formation will stay the same.
Can they contain what Red Bull New York have offered in the opening 45 minutes? Red Bull New York up against Toronto FC. Red Bull more than comfortable within these confines. Just a handful of home losses over the course of the last couple of years in Harrison, New Jersey. Toronto FC with no wins in the last 6 away games. No win against Red Bull New York in the last 11 in Major League Soccer. All falls now to Dylan Nealis. Carmona lets fly across goal. Trickles wide of the right-hand post.
Yeah, but going back to that home record, Callum, the big issue last year was they had 14 draws. So they were able to not lose at home. It's very difficult to play against, but didn't get over the top as far as that final ball, those results to get 3 points. And this is exactly the type of match that you have to get 3 points in at this point in the season where Toronto FC are, and for the ambitions that Red Bull should have going into the season to be in the top 4. Right now hovering about the middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference. Still early, of course, but when you look back at the end of the year and you have to go through a difficult path to get to MLS Cup, these are the types of matches you look back on international weeks that add up.
Of course, Red Bull New York reached MLS Cup last season for the first time since 2008. Now they have some defending to do with Insigne trying to slip it through. This an intricate touch. Ayla across the cover. On the line go Toronto. Simancic ricocheting the ball behind. Robin Fraser earned a yellow card at half-time, was clearly irritated with the referee on several different accounts.
Yeah, I don't blame him, to be honest. I think he had a good reason to be upset. Disagreed with the decision from Freeman. And then also Bernadeschi picked up a yellow for dissent, and he's the captain, so I think he had a few issues to speak with at halftime and picks up a yellow card, but I don't think he'll be bothered by it.
Can Toronto find a way through here? Just the 32 shots this season for TFC, tied for the fewest in Major League Soccer before coming into this evening. Croatia with a ball into the back post. Rosted Rose, the effort towards goal from Bernadeschi is flashed over to the far flank. Back in by Croatia. And first real test for AJ Marcucci. And he passes with flying colours. Delivers the ball forward very quickly indeed. The Red Bull way. Edwards. Fabulous challenge from Cozy Thompson. on at half-time and involved straight away. Edelman. Ella into the path of Choupo-Moting. Swings for Carmona again. Able to pick out the pass of Edwards. Longstaff may very well feel slightly fortuitous hearing the referee's whistle.
Yeah, but that's twice now that Wicked Carmona has found himself in dangerous positions. Just on the edge of the box, and that final pass has been missing both times. He's under-hit it, hasn't played it wide enough, and sloppy ultimately there to try to get that ball wide and then get into the box, see if he can get a finish.
So if you are joining us late, Forsberg with the goal to separate the two sides on the cusp of half-time from the penalty spots. Enrico Bernardeschi and co have offered plenty to really test AJ Marcucci in his MLS debut in goal for Red Bull New York. Half-time changes for Toronto FC saw both Zane Monlouis and Henry Wingo depart. Cozy Thompson, homegrown player born and raised in Toronto, manoeuvring once again into the right wing-back role. Sigurd Rosted returning after missing the last two due to a lower body injury. Norwegian centre-half with a whole host of experience, now hoping to solidify Toronto's back line in the second half.
Yeah, and they've gotten healthy, at least now. They had a rash of injuries through the first 4 matches, and now it's actually the attack that's been missing. No Osorio, of course, with the national team, Spicer as well. Gone with Trinidad and Tobago, so some international players gone and haven't been able to create much.
Let's not forget as well, Uchi Lorea dealing with an injury as well. Ula Brynhildsen, the new centre-forward for TFC, injured as well. There's Edelman. Ella running into trouble. Neelis brothers clearing up for Red Bull New York. The ball seems to stay in play. Here come Red Bull in fabulous free-flowing fashion. Choupo-Moting. Toronto retreating in numbers very quickly. Forsberg.
Yeah, that's so good from Red Bull there, pressuring. It starts with Choupo-Moting, forcing Long into a bad ball. Quite able to get out quickly, but excellent press to win the ball back from Red Bull.
Back to Neelis. Here's Peter Stroud. Into the opposing areas, and Signet and co able to clear away. Here's Matty Longstaff. Rosted scored his first goal for Toronto FC in the loss to Orlando on match day 2. Simonancic. Nixon Gomes now. Signet. Ella providing the necessary wall. Choupo-Moting unable to wriggle through, but does win possession back quickly. Mona remaining on the ground. Red Bull floor to play on. Poignantly flashed forward, and Stroud now into Choupo-Moting. The angle against Peter Stroud. Stroud across goal. Scrambled away by Thompson at the vital moment. It seemed, Kalen, as though Toronto FC froze.
Yeah, it was a nice little hesitation there from Stroud on the end line. It looked like he might cut it back to recirculate. Ends up getting to the end line with a little cut back to Edwards, but just wasn't able to get on the end of it.
Nealis. Choupo-Moting just the May ball and long clears away. Sean Nealis, goal scorer in MLS Cup against LA Galaxy last season. Choupo-Moting now into Dylan Nealis. Nealis with the ball across. Forsberg are able to gather it. Edwards does though. Behind for a goal kick. Well, this exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile, and it was wonderfully flashed across goal, and there were no recipients, Caleb.
Yeah, Stroud does really well there to just hesitate, to look like he's going to cut back, and then ends up getting to the end line. The cut back across. We've seen Edwards get in dangerous spots a few times, but just missing that final touch.
Under of the age of 29 as Raheem Edwards, after 2 spells at Montreal, Minnesota, LA Galaxy, LAFC, Chicago Fire, finally found a home here at Red Bull New York. There's John Insigne.
He's filling in. Omar Valencia is an option, young player. And Tolkien has gone abroad to Germany, so that spot going to need a number of options, playing in multiple competitions, the US Open Cup and Leagues Cup, and Edwards has that experience to step in, and missing that final touch in the box. He's had a few good options.
So changes on the horizon for Toronto FC. It's our understanding Derek Etienne will be coming in, as well as DeAndre Kerr. Information of it. DeAndre Kerr was so unfortunate not to start this game after the goal scored against Chicago Fire in the home opener last weekend. Now gets his chance with 35 minutes plus. Etienne Jr., of course, raised in Paterson, New Jersey, just 17 miles northwest of here, formerly of the Red Bull New York Academy and first team. Chance to impress against his former employer. Nealis with the ball in. Straight away. Derek Etienne clearing away. Dylan Nealis now looking to cause panic inside the Toronto FC penalty area. Picked on by Sean Nealis and thrashed away by Longstaff. Stroud purposefully gallivanting forward. Thompson picking up the pass. Cozy Thompson now into Bernardeschi. Forward now for Longstaff. It's kicked away by a retreating Edelman. Ball push forward again. Here's Forsberg. Nealis nudging forward, and Gomes will come across the cover. Throw now for Toronto. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kalen Carr, there seems to be now an element of purpose with Toronto FC introducing the likes of Derek Etienne and DeAndre Kerr and leaving the likes of Insigne and Bernardeschi on the field.
Yeah, well, they have to push the game to get something out of this, and it'll come with a formation change as well from Robin Fraser, going from the 3-5-2, which looked a lot like a back five for most of that first half, and now playing a little bit more of a 3-4-3, leaving Insigne and Bernardeschi on the wings, and then having a real number 9 come in. DeAndre Kerr staying in those central positions, at least to try to get some service. Came in, a bit of confidence with a goal last week, a nice ball in from Bernardeschi, but they haven't had that striker with Insigne and Bernardeschi up top. Not going to occupy those central positions. Now they brought it in with DeAndre Kerr.
Edelman. Not too much on the cross, and behind for a goal kick. So just short of the hour mark, Kalen Carr, what's been the observation of the contest?
Well, Red Bull are in control. They haven't been able to create much through the run of play as far as really good look chances, and Toronto FC have been defensively, haven't given up much. But the painful part is the penalty. That's the part they're going to ruin. Now they have to chase the game. Do they open themselves up, and could leave opportunities for Red Bull? But that's the point where Toronto FC have been. The word that Robin Fraser during the week was resilience, and about 30 minutes left to try to get something out of this game.
Lorenzo Insigne. Here's Carmona. 30 minutes remaining in Harrison, New Jersey. Dylan Nealis down the line. Just too much for Choupo-Moting to gather. The heat map is presented by IHG. 19 brands, 6,000 destinations. Download the app today. Peter Stroud, very much looking like the central midfielder we knew he was after recovering from injury, Caleb.
Yeah, and he's had to play a lot of different positions for Red Bull under Sandro Schwartz. Saw him last year even pushed into one of those dual 10s. He's very comfortable, really likes to cover ground. Play more of that twin 6 position next to Edelman. That's where we've seen him today, but still makes those late arriving runs. The crossover to Edwards, and more than anything, senses the danger. Been really able to take that entire center midfield position out for Toronto FC. Have not had anything to play through. Stroud and Edelman have covered the distance, not allowed any space.
Peter Stroud returning to the football club after 2 years with West Ham United in the English Premier League. It's a lovely lofted ball forward which forces Johnson outside his penalty area.
That's a perfect example there, just covering end line to end line, keeping possession. Well played.
Hatch pestered by the combination of Kerr and Longstaff. Edwards unable to find a way through. Cozy Thompson now giving much more of a local flavour to this Toronto FC side. 2 homegrown boys from Toronto, Ontario. Here's another of them on the opposing side, Raheem Edwards. Red Bull unable to find a way through this time. Tomorrow night, Brandon Vasquez and Austin FC take centre stage in Major League Soccer as they host Andres Dreyer and San Diego. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern with MLS Countdown right here on MLS Season Pass. Stroud. J. Marcucci not been called upon too much on his MLS debut.
Sure, that's just the way he would like it. Carlos Coronel had to make a couple big saves in extra time last week against Orlando City here at home. Could have dropped points in that match as well, but interesting to see how Red Bull play this one out down the stretch. Sandro Schwartz was not happy with those last 10 minutes. Seemed to take their foot off the gas pedal and allow too much space here. So far, defensively have been good positions, have numbers around DeAndre Kerr and Bernadeschi way out wide and Insigne underneath.
Davis able to do enough. The offside flag raised on the far side. This is a Red Bull New York side that have kept 2 clean sheets from the opening 4 MLS games. With a different proposal. With DeAndre Kerr entering the game, and a player that I'm sure Alonso Coelho, who we saw a glimpse of there, will try and find in some capacity. Etienne, of course, as we mentioned earlier on, more than familiar with these surroundings. MLS Cup winner with Columbus Crew in 2020, ex-Atlanta United. 6 goals and 4 assists in 60 Red Bull New York MLS appearances over the years. Edelman. Raheem Edwards. Choupo-Moting. Move it inside. Can Red Bull find a second? Peter Stroud! And if anybody deserves a goal, it's him.
It's well worked here from Red Bull. Playing the little third man there. Great layoff, and it allows Stroud on top of the box. He just tries to curl that one. Not able to get on target. Troubled Johnson.
There's DeAndre Kerr tussling and winning a free kick for Toronto. Kerr again, twisting and turning. It's Kerr! Relatively easy save from Marcucci. Signs of life from an attacking point of view for Toronto, who now have to switch gears and defend an imminent Red Bull attack.
DeAndre Kerr got himself into a good spot here, and they play it quick off the dead ball here. Just play it right in, and Coelho finds him one-on-one, and it does well to cut across there. Just losing a little bit of his balance, not able to get enough force on it, but clever restart to play it quick and use Kerr one-on-one, isolate those center backs.
So Felipe Carbajo, the Uruguayan, into the fray, as you can see, as well as Serge Goma. Felipe Carbajo, the Uruguayan international on loan from Grêmio, top tier of Brazilian football. Serge Goma, homegrown player, born in North Plainfield, New Jersey, 21 miles west of here. Cushioning inside, and Carbajo losing out. Here's Coelho, just able to find the pass he wanted as Noah Ayla brings the ball forward for Red Bull New York. Ayla, Eno Forsberg. Johnson needed to save it at the near post.
It's really good stuff here from Noah Ayla. First of all, to be in the position to intercept the ball, and then the comfort to carry the ball forward, cutting across, and just lays it out wide to Forsberg. Doesn't have the best angle, doesn't quite hit it right, and John Johnson has to be alert at that near post.
Combination of the Swedes very nearly giving Red Bull New York a second. Forsberg offers something here. In-swinging ball, Johnson firmly deals with it. Forsberg again, angled ball in, very nearly a second goal for Red Bull New York. Delicious ball in from Forsberg, and Red Bull just unable to find the back of the net. They think it's a corner, and the referee, after assessing the situation, eventually does give the corner.
Well, Sean Johnson's in disbelief, and so are Red Bull at this save. This is a ridiculous save here from Sean Johnson to get low through a crowd, and he does get that left hand to it. I believe it was Hack who was able to redirect that. So difficult with numbers running across you and get down low to it.
Even at this stage, match day 5 of the campaign, tensions running high. The game is there for the taking. Red Bull seek a second. Toronto away back into the game. Forsberg's ball in, hit away. Carbajo let fly. There's a half-hearted appeal for hands, and Toronto scramble the danger away. Falls fortuitously now for Etienne Jr. Here come Toronto FC. Insigne. Coelho. Invading Choupo-Moting. Red Bull back in numbers so quickly. Bernardeschi now on the ball. Long. Noah Ayla able to repel for the time being. Well, this exclusive NetCam replay is brought to you by T-Mobile, and you said it, Caelan, what a save from Johnson.
Yeah, it's hard to see here coming across. It's good contact there from Hack, and then an excellent save to get low, to react quickly, and that left hand from Johnson keeps this one from being 2-0 to Red Bull.
Still one of the very best in Major League Soccer. The Chicago Fire home debut against Red Bull New York. The game that Caelan Carr was involved in. I won't utter the scoreline for you on that day, Caelan.
That was so long ago. You had to dig in the crates for that one.
You've done some extra research then. Nevertheless, whistle blown in favour of Toronto with 20 minutes remaining.
But this Toronto FC team defensively has not been good. Yes, they've had injuries, but they've conceded 10 goals. That's most in MLS, alongside Orlando City.
Lovely done by Insigne. Here's Derek Etienne inviting ball and Carr! Two goals in 2 games for DeAndre Carr. Toronto FC right back in it, and how?
Well, how big does that Johnson save look now? Just minutes later, and against the run of play, it's been all Red Bull. Throughout the course of this match, Toronto FC have been unable to create an opportunity. It's the 2 substitutes that combine straight off the bench and into the headlines. What a ball there from Derek Etienne Jr., the former Red Bull. Plays it in perfectly with the left foot, and DeAndre Kerr scored a header last week against Chicago in their home opener. Carries the good form forward, tucks that one in for his 2nd of the season to bring Toronto FC right back in this.
Well, there were so many that were surprised that DeAndre Kerr didn't start this game, given he scored the goal against Chicago Fire last week. Point-proving goal, perhaps, for DeAndre Kerr. And with 20 minutes remaining, game on in Harrison, New Jersey. And a change now for Toronto FC. You can see another homegrown player entering the fray. Kobe Franklin making way as Nixon Gomes at centre-half. Well, this game could now go either way, it seems.
Yeah, but give Robin Fraser a ton of credit. He used the word resiliency, but the tactical shift to bring in Etienne Jr. and DeAndre Kerr gave them that central 9 option they didn't have with Bernadeschi and Insigne. You can see what a difference it makes with the width provided by this man, Derek Etienne Jr., and then excellent ball in the box. You can tell me that you're not extra motivated to play against your former side. I don't believe that. So I'm sure it'll feel extra sweet for him to have a cross like that and bring them back in this game.
Here's Bernadeschi. All of a sudden, Toronto FC seem a little more confident. Amazing what a goal does in this game.
Absolutely. Completely against the run of play. It seemed like Red Bull in comfortable position. Insigne not able to trouble them. Bernadeschi's been quiet, and it's the substitutions, the depth, that often makes such a big difference, especially this weekend. The international absences. That depth is tested, and Toronto FC so far showing up with flying colors.
Cool hurt after the challenge from Serge Golma. Derek Etienne going into the referee's book. Was there something before the yellow card, I wonder?
Yeah, so this is Coesio, and you can see the arm coming up a little bit high there from Ngoma. And then on the other side, Derek Etienne Jr., veteran play, seeing he's got a man down, brought them back in the game, taking the foul, stopped the play and allowed them to get to 11.
Pushed forward by Cabasho. Goma give Red Bull way back into the lead. Regular with Red Bull New York 2 over the years, just 19 years of age. And it feels, Kalen, as though it's a period for the stars to shine. Will we get a moment of magic, I wonder, from the likes of Emil Forsberg, Choupo-Moting or Insigne or Bernardeschi?
Yeah, but we haven't seen that so far this game. Has really been the other side of it. Of course, Forsberg gets the goal, but from a penalty, and in the run of play, it really hasn't been the big stars that have been able to make the difference. And that's why I talked about the unique challenges of this week. Someone like Derek Etienne Jr. coming into a team, and spoke to Jason Hernandez last year about the addition of Etienne Jr., and he said he liked his profile coming from Paterson, New Jersey. Now, of course, Jason Hernandez would know something about the area, being local boy here from New York City, so I think that personality has sometimes been missing, and saw it coming through in spades, coming off the bench and making a difference in this game.
Here's Goma. Dylan Nealis inside for Cabasho. Serge Goma again. Opens up for Edelman. Choupo-Moting. Cabasho. Forsberg! Well, there's appeals for offside. No doubt they'll take a look. But if the goal stands, just when Red Bull needed a star player to stand up and take charge, Emil Forsberg delivers again. Or does he? This goal will be checked.
Get a good look at this one. Toronto FC have had to make 2 changes on the back line, and it's Kosi Thompson on top of the screen there that keeps Forsberg onside. You can see the entire Toronto FC line has stepped up, and it's just late there from Thompson. And it turns an easy chance for Forsberg. Had one from the penalty spot, this one from a similar position, but in the run of play, and Red Bull back on top of this game.
Well, even Forsberg isn't sure. The discussion continues between John Friedman and the head of VAR, Jorge Gonzalez. The check is complete, goal confirmed. Emil Forsberg at the double. And Red Bull regain the lead. A game of fine margins. Goal decided through millimetres. What do we have in store? 13 minutes plus added time remaining. Goma, Dylan Nealis now. Ricocheting the ball off of Kobe Franklin and behind for a corner.
Yeah, but that's part of what we've been talking about as far as the depth being tested in the international window, where you have to dig a little bit deeper, and we've seen a number of changes to this back line. Roosted, Kobe Franklin, Kosi Thompson, and what you lack then is continuity. Backline is a relationship position, especially as you're looking to hold off sides, and just a step late there to step off, and Forsberg gets an easy one.
Forsberg's ball in. Hack Rose only to find Forsberg again. Across goal he goes. Falls now to Cabasho. The offside flag has been raised on the near side, much to the relief of Toronto FC, I'm sure. The Matchday Live scores are presented by AT&T. 2-2. The 2 earlier games finished between Cincinnati, Atlanta, Minnesota and LA Galaxy. Charlotte leading San Jose by 4 goals to 1. Orlando leading by 4 as well. Goalless between Nashville and Montreal. Games coming thick and fast later this evening on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Even at this stage of the season, the game has a real edge to it. Franklin away. Noah Ayla manoeuvring forward for Red Bull New York. Cabasho into Goma. Choupo-Moting. Gilmer throwing forward now for Cabasho, who's onside. Cabasho stumbled away by Toronto. Minutes remain. Feels as though this game is far from over.
But the scary part is, as you look at this schedule here, this next match against Vancouver, unbeaten in MLS. Yes, that will be at home, but they just lost their home opener, and then the next match waiting for Toronto FC is Inter Miami, so not an easy stretch ahead. Only 1 point so far in the season. Have fought hard to fight their way back in this match, but not a lot to show for it, and it's been the story of the season so far for them.
Can they find something manoeuvring forward here? Longstaff. Alone, manoeuvring forward with Thompson. It's Matty Longstaff, just unable to force a way through. Thompson will chase the lost cause in behind for a goal kick. Into the play for Robin Fraser. Knows there's 10 minutes remaining. Perhaps another chance or two for his side. Certainly played his part in the outcome. Forsberg brought into this football club to deliver in moments like this. It's Kerr, the goal scorer for Toronto. Nealis. Angle cut off by Coesho. Franklin forced to retreat. Comprehensively. There's Cabasho. Dylan Nealis. Forsberg. Choupo-Moting. Intricate build-up here from Red Bull New York. Gilmer looking to get it behind. Franklin having none of it. Thrust forward now for Kerr to chase. DeAndre Kerr is onside. Etienne Jr. just a whisker away from an equalising goal.
Yeah, but it's the same combination, but this time they reverse the order. It's Kerr looking for Etienne Jr. with the late arriving run there, and he just tries to bend it to pick out that far corner. It does not miss by much there. You can see the formula is clear for Toronto FC to get out in transition. Robin Fraser has that now to his disposal with the pace of Kerr to be able to stretch the pitch, and then the follow-up runner there from Etienne. Good effort.
To touch it up for a throw for Robin Fraser's Toronto FC. Playing in a place and against a team they've not beaten since 2016. Forsberg.
And this is now the stretch that we spoke to Sandro Schwartz about during the week that he was so upset about. He said he came into the locker room after that Orlando match and said, we lost our shape, lost our structure. Those last 10 minutes, almost costly one for them. Coronel had to really bail them out with 2 big saves to end that match in added time, and important for them to be able to. This is a good look there, just trying to get that curl to the far post to use Noah Isla as a shield. Not quite right there from Etienne, but pushing once again.
Here is Etienne once more, twinkle toes. Just able to pick out the pass, and now Choupo-Moting. Just a forest of Toronto FC players. Daniel Edelman. Edwards in support. Nilis.
Yeah, but this is the part of the game that I feel like Red Bull have long struggled with a lead, needing to keep possession, find different ways to close out a match.
Nilis into the path of Goma. It's opened up for Serge Goma! Really smart save from Sean Johnson.
It's a long ball here, and Dylan Nilis is very good in the air, sacrifices himself, and it's always the knockdown for Red Bulls, and Goma tries to pick out that back post, but good save from Johnson.
On the other end, it's Insigne. Here come Toronto, Cozy Thompson. Longstaff into Rosted. Boesio finding a pass. Longstaff's ball in. Cleared away by Red Bull. Insigne. Ball in, and Bernadeschi goes down under the challenge. Longstaff, I beg your pardon. Seems to be a problem away from the ball, and Serge Goma. Serge Goma has certainly provided trickle too since coming on.
He's just come off an injury as well and worked his way back into the team. Came off the bench at the last 10 minutes of their last match against Orlando City, and so you hope that it's not a re-aggravation of what he's been dealing with coming into this one. He's been troubled by injuries throughout his career since breaking in. Remember that first goal he scored in his first start at Austin a few years back, but then he's had terrible luck. Some injuries since, and at this point, you have to hope for the best for him.
Well, we are hearing that Goma will be departing. Have to hope it's not too problematic for the youngster. Coming on to replace him, we're told, is Ronald Doncourt. Elements of confusion with Sandoval Schwarz. Clearly wants to make the substitution quickly. And this is why Goma may have a problem.
And this was just out in the follow through here. It's maybe where that discomfort is coming in, but see Doncourt step into his position. Be a like for like just underneath Choupo-Moting up top.
Doncourt, much like Serge Goma, the product of the Red Bull New York 2 system. 20-year-old Ghanaian midfielder in to see out the remaining minutes of the game. Sandoval Schwarz and Red Bull New York. So into the dying embers of the game we go. We have another twist in the tale here at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Doncourt involved immediately. Toronto find a way out. Win themselves a throw. Those fans have been boisterous as always. The South Ward, the Empire Supporters Club, Viking Army in full voice as always. About to witness a second home win of the season. Choupo-Moting. Come Red Bull New York. Johnson able to clear the danger away. Forsberg. Emil Forsberg. Nilis. Behind for a corner.
It's clever there from Nilis. Faced up one-on-one with Insigne.
Another change on the horizon, it seems, for Red Bull New York, which we'll get to momentarily. First, the business of a corner ball. The potential opportunity in front of goal for the home side. Forsberg's ball in. Towards the edge it falls. Edwards lets fly. Wide of the intended target. The match momentum is presented by Old Spice. It's been an intriguing contest over the course of the last 90 minutes, Caelan Carr. Both sides have had momentum in certain moments of the contest.
Yeah, but the first half was pretty cagey, pretty dull, not a lot in it. Saw the one penalty, that was about it. You see Forsberg coming off in front of the supporters groups, and then Tim Parker just looks right back in that Red Bulls kit, huh?
On for a second Red Bull New York debut. Boy from Hicksville, New York. This is his 275th MLS regular season appearance. Of course, has tried his trade with Vancouver, Houston, St. Louis and the Revolution. As you mentioned, now back at Red Bull New York. Johnson happy to dance with danger and flash it forwards. The free kick to Toronto FC, much to the annoyance of several in Red Bull colours. 6 minutes of added time.
Yeah, and with 6 minutes, Sandro Schwartz is not messing around this week. He mentioned how frustrated he was against that last 10 minutes with Orlando City, almost gave up. So gave up the lead, or gave up actually the point at home here. And so instead going to 5 in the back to try to see out this game with 6 minutes of extra time left.
There's Long. Choupo-Moting keeping Toronto deep in their own half. Franklin down under the challenge. Basho will earn a yellow card, much to his dismay. Well, Carpaccio has walked himself into a red card. So quickly did he receive a yellow, no sooner did he receive a red. Clearly said something the referee didn't like, and Carpaccio gives Red Bull New York a problem now in the remaining minutes.
Seen Freeman go to his book quite quickly in this one. Saw Bernardeschi get one in the first half, Robin Fraser at halftime, and the first one is obvious. He throws the ball away, he's delaying a restart. It's an easy decision, up a goal, picks up the yellow card, and then the second one looked like for dissent. Hard to tell. But now, down a man, a few minutes left. Red Bull already gone to 5 in the back. They're gonna need to go into a shell to try to see this one out.
So can Toronto FC find something? Derek Etienne Jr. glanced away by Nilis. Thompson. Flashed forward now for Toronto FC. Red Bull repel. Red Bull down to 10 men in the dying embers of the game. Is there late drama here in Harrison, New Jersey? Derek Etienne, the former Red Bull man. Rosted. Nosy Thompson surveying. Longstaff now. So, able to work their way through on that occasion. Red Bull New York deep. Toronto happy to play and eager to find an equalising goal. Just one of 6 teams coming into this weekend yet to find a win in Major League Soccer. They'll take a point here if they can find it. Insigne. Edelman on hand to clear. Bernardeschi stopped in his tracks comprehensively.
It's been that way all day. When was the last time you really even mentioned Bernardeschi or an Insigne? It's been a non-factor. Of course, Insigne not having the fitness and not making an impact. Well, this ball.
It falls now to Kobe Franklin. Into the wide areas he goes. Bernardeschi just unable to deliver the final ball in. As you mentioned, Kalen, it's just been one of those nights for the Italian.
You're just hoping for one moment of magic if you're Robin Fraser.
Derek Etienne. Insigne unable to return the pass, and Red Bull clear away. Johnson eager to take the throw quickly. Sandro Schwarz eager for the game to end.
But with the red card, they may add time on top of those 6 minutes.
Pushed forward by Cozy Thompson and dealt with by Hack. Do we have a late goal here in Harrison, New Jersey? Been told there's an extra minute added to the 6 already. Derek Etienne's ball in. Longstaff. Marcucci on his MLS debut, able to smother.
You can see the disappointment from Longstaff, who was hoping there was a runner coming on the back post and maybe could have had a go without much time left to just try to redirect that one on net and give yourself a chance.
Rescue from Rosted at the back. Choupo-Moting. It's the flurry of Toronto players, happy to take the ball to the corner and win a throw.
It's really good work there from Choupo-Moting, just so strong, the balance, clever. Just trying to see this one out.
Raheem Edwards. Now Toronto with one more press forwards. Perhaps Red Bull New York now with a chance. Into the path now of Red Bull New York, but the referee has blown the whistle, it seems. Well, much to the dismay of Red Bull New York, they can't believe they weren't given a chance to score a third. The real elements of confusion at Sports Illustrated Stadium. Sean Johnson down on the ground. And the referee has blown the final whistle. Victory for Red Bull New York. Now 12 games unbeaten against Toronto FC, who gave it their all. AJ Marcucci on his MLS debut finds victory. And 2 goals from Emil Forsberg will be the headline claimed here today. Plenty of positives from a Toronto FC point of view to take to the game against Vancouver next week. But Red Bull New York emerged victorious for the 2nd time this season by beating Toronto by 2 goals to 1. Well, this is the player of the match. And unsurprisingly, Emil Forsberg, with 2 goals to his name, will claim the adulations.
Yeah, and you know, this is the player that made the difference for their deep run all the way to MLS Cup. And last year, this is the type of match that you saw this team draw. Had 14 draws in the regular season. That's why they had a tougher road to Cup. And this is the player that makes the biggest difference for them. To find that moment, to find the breakthrough, to have that piece of calmness and clever, to understand their back line was all out of sorts for Toronto FC, and when he got his chance, he made the difference. 2 goals in this one, and all 3 points for Red Bull in a match they had to take advantage.
Talk to me about Toronto FC, Caleb. What positives can they take from this?
Not much. It's frustrating because at this point in the season, yes, it's early, but based on the way they played, they probably should have had more. At least a point out of this match, and they fought their way back in it. I thought Etienne Jr. and DeAndre Kerr came in and made a difference, but once again, they're in a big hole, and they play against Vancouver undefeated and then Inter Miami after that. But going back home after losing their home match, have to take advantage against Vancouver if they can.
Red Bull New York took advantage of the chances that fell their way as they beat Toronto FC by 2 goals to 1.
Emma, party of 3.
Ready? MLS is game on. Don't you?
Offensive attack.
Somebody who's on the boards. Bobby McMahon is out. No Leonard to leave, so they're going to go with six forwards here.
Well, their power play is with 5 forwards, right?
I'm just thinking if you use that 5 and McMahon is your